So let's just sit in a nice, comfortable seated posture and see if you can really kind of tune in to the soles of your feet on the floor. And maybe your feet are kind of you're cross-legged, so they're underneath you. Feel the weight of your hands in your lap and your sits bones in the chair. And then maybe you can have, if you want, depending on your chair, you can put maybe a rolled up towel up against your upper back. That will really help to support you and to help you keep aligned if you don't want to sit on a cushion. And then align your shoulders with your hips and your ears with your shoulders. And imagine your spine is a beautiful string of pearls of light that stretch from the base of the spine all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And just imagine you're lengthening your spine. Just put some space in between the vertebrae. And then go to the crown of the head and release any tension on the crown. Relax the forehead, relax your face, and the back of the tongue, the jaw, the ear, the inner ear, your temples. Relax the back of the head and the neck, and allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And just notice the sensation of the breath as you inhale and exhale. And be aware of any sound in your environment, just allowing the sound to be there, trying not to follow with your mind. Trying not to investigate. And it's a good idea to try and think about if you do notice that your mind has gone off to follow a sound, maybe just see if you can notice the moment at which the mind departed. And then just be aware of how your mind is this evening. What kind of stories are in your mind? Trying to put some space in between your thoughts. And then be aware of, all these people of our life, our loved ones, our strangers, the ones we don't like so much, and just remembering all these relationships that we have are interchangeable. They're all equal. They all want to be happy. They don't want to suffer. And they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. And we create negativity with our mind. So therefore, we can also change it by creating positivity instead. And we do this primarily for the purpose of benefiting others. So we can motivate in that way as well. So we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being in this life, on this day, and in all of our past lives. And you can think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so, having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we might experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So, logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So, we think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that kind of, these kind of cause us suffering. This is kind of our delusions. And Lama Yeshe would say that attachment is the greatest cause of all of our problems. So you can see how that thread goes. If you don't get what you want, you get angry. Anyway, it's a different time. So think, okay, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance, and we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing Buddha to forgive us, we're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. He has he's got this beautiful, radiant face, full of love and compassion, total acceptance. However it is you're turning up tonight, that's completely fine. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed in his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So, in order to develop compassion, so this is the second section under the section of reliance. So, we need to rely upon other beings in order to develop compassion. So, the beings we've harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So, think particularly of people you may have harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result in suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to the power of remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of the lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sabasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sakta Ah Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sabasidi mepiyatsa sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam kuru hum ha ha ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sakta a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mepiyatsa sawa kama sitame sitam triyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sabazidi mepiyatsa sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sabasidi mempiyatsa sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sabasidi mempiyatsa sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drina Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body. So this time forcing up to the top of your body, all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you and just kind of quite forcefully pouring out of the top parts of the body. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita drida meboa sitokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sabusidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sitame sitam priyam guru hum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sabazidi mebiyata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sabasidi mempiyatsa sawa kama sitame Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sabasidi Mepiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sabasidi Mipiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Vida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam triyam guru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam triyam guru hum ha ho bhagawan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum. So now feel really happy that your speech is completely purified and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So you imagine it's kind of the same. You walk into a room, it's dark, you flick on a switch, and the light comes instantly, doesn't it? It dispels all the darkness. So it's the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachment, neediness, bitterness, grudges, jealousy, anger, anxiety, depression, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam guru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriam guru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sabasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame, sitam shriam guru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anurakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriam guru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anurakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame, sitam shriam guru hum ha ho bhagawan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta me boa sabazidi me yata sawa kama me sitam shriam guru hum ha ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajra me mutsa vajra bawa mahasamaya sattva hum. Hey. So now be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of our body, speech, and mind. And this time, imagine Vajrasattva sending light and nectar. So the nectar flows down, pushing out all the negativity of the body. The nectar flows up, pushing out all the negativity of the speech. And then the light comes and just blasts all the delusions. And in this way, this happens all at the same time. And as this is all happening and it is quite busy, it eradicates completely even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sabasidi Mebiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ha Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anorakta meboa, sabasidi mebiyata sawa kama sitame, sitam triyam guru hum ha bhagawan, sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anorakta meboa sawasidi mempiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriam guru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tatagata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva hum pe vajrasattva samaya manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anorakta meboa sawasidi mempiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sabasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sabasidi Mempiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Triyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anorakta Meboa Sabasidi Mempiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha 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 Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Hum. Hey. So now feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. So it's a really crucial one because here we need to decide. Just decide. I want to refrain from harming. And then we make a plan. So you don't just kind of think, oh, I'd like to go to Nepal, and then you just neglect to book your flight because you won't get there. So, first of all, you have to make a decision to go, make a decision about not wanting to harm, and then put a plan together. So without that plan. We're just going to keep doing the same old things over and over again without that decision. So you become a little bit determined, takes a bit of effort. And then it becomes like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new direction. So you think, rejoice in your efforts for coming along, and then think of something you'd like to work on. So really kind of just give yourselves a pat on the back for all of your effort. And then imagine Vajrasattva delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. And next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on emptiness. So he would say, in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. And you can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I have created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's just do our chanting the names of Manjushri. Can you make that a little bigger? Okay, great. Thank you. With tufts of hair and plumes of luscious hair, with matted locks cord tied, five-faced, with 5 hair tufts, his head well crowned, his head adorned with garlands of 5 strands, upholding great observances, head shaven, the foremost of observances, chaste student, with great austerities, perfected fully, he is the greatest bather, Gautama. A Brahman or Brahman arrived in full at Brahman Nirvana, awakening its branches, liberation, release, complete tranquility, quiescence. Okay, everybody, let's have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, and then a swift return of all of your own individual, so a swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Well, he's here, as I keep saying, but maybe we could see him soon. I'd like to see at least a photograph, something like that. Anyway, and then for all of your own teachers, just strong wish for them to stay safe, be well, be happy, and to be doing whatever it is they want to do to be of benefit.